So I think we'll start the class now. I would like to welcome all those who have present here to this beautiful day of Dashami. And whoever has come here and taken their time, I would like to thank them for the recitation and for the there was no translation today, for the recitation by Kusumlata Mataji and Jayashri Mataji, and screen sharing by Sinchana Mataji, and beautiful Kirtan by Jay Mataji, Jayashri Mataji, and Sinchana Mataji. It was all very beautiful. I'm truly grateful for you to set the scene for us to begin discussing the chapters 15 and 16, both of which are really important. And I will have to do them a little fast today, and I hope I will do justice in bringing out the main points, and so that we successfully complete these two chapters today. So, welcoming you all to this Bhagavad Gita class for adults, 7 p.m. And I would like to pay my respectful obeisances to beautiful deities of Sri Radha Govinda temple as we continue our journey of the 18-day Bhagavad Gita course, which comes from ISKCON Radha Govinda temple, Mangalore. And once more, offering obeisances and praying to these beautiful deities that we can do a wonderful class today, both listening and hearing, and we are able to truly get the gist of these two important chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Jai Mataji, thank you so much for being here in support. Let's begin with praying to the Guru. Om Ajnana Timiran Dasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. All glories to the founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, his disciple, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, and his disciple, the Temple President, His Grace Nam Nishtha Das Prabhu. And it is only because of them that we are able to listen to the Gita classes free and enjoy this enjoy sharing and discussing this transcendental message coming straight from the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita. The chapter 15 is called the Purushottam Yoga. That is it is related to how we can merge or how we can keep our thoughts constantly with Krishna once more. The topics that are discussed in Purushottam Yoga are, we are going to have actually a peak preview of the spiritual world, like I told you yesterday. In chapter 15, Krishna, he gives us a peak preview, like an advertisement. So he tries to lure us and make us understand that there is a beautiful world called the spiritual world to which we actually belong. And he describes it a little bit, so that we feel attracted to really try to go back there where we belong. Many times we do feel frustrated with this material world and we don't know what we're supposed to do and where we're supposed to go. But Krishna gives us clear instructions as to where we have to go and how we have to go. He gives us the knowledge of the goal as well as the process, and also the goal, the process, and there's one more, Prayojan. Yeah, I forget the third one. Yeah, I think it will come in today's slides. So he is going to give us complete knowledge of where we're supposed to go and how we are supposed to get there. So, and how do we set ourselves free from illusion? Yesterday we learned about illusion and how powerful it is, and how, it is going to try and constantly bind us, and how it is that Krishna is maintaining us is what we are going to see today. So 15.1 to 15.5 tells us how we can become attached to the material world. There's a beautiful, analogy given here about a tree, as you can see in the picture below here. The reflection of the tree, and the tree is given for us to really understand what is the material world and what is the relationship of it to the spiritual world. Then we understand about the transmigration of the soul which we have also seen in chapter 2, once more from 15.7 to 15.11. And then we actually understand more clearly how Krishna maintains every aspect of our life. And finally, we are going to see the essence, that is a summary of the Vedanta Sutra in the last few verses. So in this picture, if Amit Prabhu is here, Ananya Mataji is here, Kiran Kumar Prabhu is here, what are the different things that you can see in this picture? It actually depicts the material world below and the spiritual world above, separated by a big water body which is made of desire. So what are the different creatures that you can see here? Would you like to just quickly put in your ideas? Yes, Amit Prabhu?
Sen sorry, Mother. Sense of gratification.
Many
Sense of
forms of?
Living
sense
creations.
I couldn't hear you clearly. Can you just please say it one more time, Prabhu?
sense of gratification and sense
Yes.
object.
Yes. Sense gratification, which is kama, religiosity, dharma, economic development, artha. And on top, we can see that liberation, moksha. And then we can see the Vedic hymns. We can see pious acts, which is going upward. That the trunks are going upward. And we can see sense objects, which are luring us. You can see human beings, and below you can see more of the animals of the different animal kingdom. You can see the snakes and dogs and everything down. Where there's a borderline between the material and spiritual world, we can see so many demigods. And right on top of the whole material world, of each material world, that is each universe, is a Brahma sitting there. So we can see on top of the material world, Brahma. Brahma is also in the material world. And what can we see above that? That is actually the spiritual world, where there is Krishna and Radha, and there are all the rest are devotees. Everything else over there, they are the pure devotees of the Lord who is serving selflessly in complete surrender. And this material world is a reflection. So whatever we see here is actually a reflection of the spiritual world according to Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is telling us that the spiritual world is actually, is actually the real world, and the whole material world is merely a reflection of the spiritual world. And the people who are there trapped in this material world are those who wanted to enjoy separately. So a separate world is created for their sake, which is the material world, which has several aspects similar, but it is lying in darkness. Unlike the spiritual world, which is by itself it is bright. The Lord Himself is got that He's got illumination. He has got brightness and splendor. We saw in how the universal form, how the light of the Lord is so bright, and each one of us are actually small specks and parts and parcels of the Lord. So even our spirit soul, is actually I can't get the word. It's actually bright, basically bright. There's no need for light or a sun or a candle or a bulb. Can you imagine, like in this world, if there is no sun, no light, no candle, it's complete darkness. That is how the material world is, complete darkness. And there is the main four things, which are death, birth, old age, disease, and death. So all these are make this jail a proper jail, keeps us trapped over here. And as we do auspicious acts, we will move up. Now today in chapter 16, we will see what are the different auspicious things that people do, the good things which carry them upward, and what are the inauspicious things or the bad things which make them go down. So Krishna is going to explain to us quickly in these 15.1 to 5 about how the tree is, the material world is like a reflection, and how we need to chop this tree off, and we need to overcome desire so that we can go back to the place where we belong to. So here, when we see, for example, when we see old people or we see somebody has died, it comes as a shock for us, because we actually belong to spiritual world where there is no death. When we see people in pain, we are like, oh my God, what is this? Why is this? Why are we feeling it abnormal? Because it is abnormal for us. We actually spirit soul, and we belong to a world where it doesn't exist. There is no pain. There is no, disease. There is no death. So then we actually belong there. That is why when we see all this in the material world, we are taken aback and we feel shocked and we feel hurt and it feels miserable for us to see that. And it is a world of misery, this material world. So 15.1 to 5, we're going to learn how to be detached from the material world, and we are going to understand that it is a reflection of the spiritual world. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhva Moolamata Shakham Ashwatham Prahuravyayam Chandansi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Saveda Vit. So the Lord is telling us that it is said there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upwards and its branches downwards, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree, once you understand this whole tree, then you become a knower of the Vedas, according to Bhagavad Gita 15.1. In 15.2, so this is a tree. It is a reflection, as we have already looked at it carefully earlier also. And this is the merely a reflection of the spiritual world. The branches of the tree come downward as well as upward. Based on the kind of activities people do, it goes either further downward or it goes upwards towards the spiritual world. And what nourishes it? The modes of material nature. The Sattvagun, Rajogun and Tamogun, and the activities that we do, accordingly, they will go up or down. The different twigs are the objects of senses which attract us, to go towards the objects. And this tree also has, this tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to fruitive actions of society. So then we get more and more entangled and we go down as much as we get bound by the results of our activities which we do, either good or bad. So karma or vikarma, accordingly we will go up and down and will be further and further bound by them. So this is about the roots, which don't only go up, it also comes down. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. We can't see the whole tree, right? Because we can't see the spiritual tree. We're not ready for it. So no one understands where it begins, where it ends, where its foundation is. But Krishna is telling us, and we need to really understand this, that the way to cut this tree down, and understand that this whole thing is an illusion, and then we need to get back, is with the weapon of detachment and with determination. So you need to have a weapon of detachment, and then with determination, you must cut down this tree so that you can, you're no longer is there a desire, no longer is there reflection, and you go back home. So doing, one must seek that place from which having gone one never returns. Why do we need to cut this tree? So that we can go straight back to the real world and stop looking at the reflection and thinking that this is real. And you never return once you go to spiritual world. And when does that happen? When you surrender to the Lord, from whom everything has begun. It just needs us to really understand that everything has come from Krishna and everything is abiding since time memorial from Krishna. So that is what we need to understand. So what is the takeaway? Detachment from bodily platform of life, stopping to think that we are the body. We in this world today use people and love things. In this material world, what do? We use people and we love things. Parents are getting old, people discard them in the old age home. Married life is getting difficult, discard them, divorce. Kids are getting naughty, discard them, put them into the residential school. Friends are too selfish, go to your Facebook, discard them, unfriend them. We are happy with, if we are unhappy with ourselves, discard yourself also, commit suicide. So, but if the phone screen is shattered, what do? We get totally trapped. Without the mobile phones, we are totally lost in today's world. We are so lost. We have lost touch with even the material world. We don't understand. And nobody is coming to the Gita to understand the purpose of life. Now, in this verse, Krishna says that Abuna, he's starting to explain about it. That abode of mind, that is a spiritual world, is not illumined by the sun or moon or electricity. One who returns there one who returns back there doesn't come to the material world again. So the material world is, actually basically a very dark place. And look at the comparison between the material and spiritual world. Spiritual world is, first of all, eternal and permanent. Material world is real. It is real. It's not that it's we say it is illusion, but it doesn't mean it's unreal. It's there. But it is temporary because it keeps on getting non-manifest and manifest and non-manifest and manifest. And there is true love only in the spiritual world. People wrongly look at love in the material world and think that it is true love. True love is not possible at all in this material world. The closest to true love that one can get is a mother's love for the child. Otherwise, every other form of love, when you look at it closely, you will realize it has some selfish, I love you because this is what I want from you. I love you, and so this is what I expect from you. That is why all these divorces and these, all these things are happening. In a spiritual world, there is true happiness. In the material world, happiness can never be eternal and true. Every happiness is only short. People who say that, oh, I'm very happy, they actually are being very foolish, because no happiness is permanent here. Only when you become spiritual, when you realize your position as per your relationship with Krishna, then you have the, when you say I am happy, it makes sense, because now you have realized your true position, and you have realized what is this material world, and you are now no more falling trapped to running after stupid material pleasures, which are all untrue, which are all temporary. Why do we say untrue? We say untrue only because they're temporary. And then we realize that what is our true relationship, what is permanent, what is everlasting. Intelligent people will understand what is permanent, what is everlasting, and go for them. Stupid people are men with less intelligence. They pretend to be very intelligent, but they're actually less intelligent. They are the ones who run after the material pleasures, and they put on a big show, taking all selfies and posting it everywhere and showing that they're very happy. Whereas everyone knows that no happiness is actually, permanent or really true in this world, because it's all short-lived. In the spiritual world, Krishna tells us that there is no sadness. The material world, actually, there is only sadness. Even the happiness is actually sadness. And the four real problems, birth, death, old age, and disease, are not there, which are there in the whole material. Even Brahma has to face these things. What are the qualities of the spiritual world which we just saw? It's a place where there's no birth, no death, no disease, no old age. It's self-indulgent. It's a place of complete bliss, a place where every step is a dance. I think I have told you this one before. And every word is a song, and from where you don't return. Hare Krishna, Kiran Kumar Prabhu. If a soil goes to soil, you mean to say the mud goes to spiritual world, would they be again back to material world? All glories to Prabhupada. Soil, I don't understand, Prabhu. Soul, okay, sorry. All right. So if a soul goes to spiritual world, would they again come back to material world? No. That's what I was explaining to you. The other class also, I was talking about the same point, Kiran Prabhu. I don't know if you were there. But when the soul once, after we have experienced the horrible journey in this material world, after going through so many 84 lakh species of life forms we have to undergo, and then even human species, so many human species, and then at last we get the knowledge, and then it still requires a struggle for us to stop desiring and stop getting tempted. And then when we get back to spiritual world, Krishna says you will never come back. Actually, it's a huge, it's very huge, the spiritual world, and the material world is smaller than the spiritual world. And people, it's like a jail, the city is huge. The jail is a small, number of people sitting in the jail are less compared to the number of people who are free in the cities and villages. Similarly, spiritual world has got so many beautiful spiritual planets, and it's a wonderful world. And when when the souls, they start, developing some sort of an envy for the Lord, then they are just pushed into this material world where they have to go through 84 lakh species, and they have to do all this. And when they've done that, Krishna says now they will, for example, if somebody gets a very tough time in the material world and they work hard, and somehow by parole they are able to come and they become free, they get back, they never come back. The God, that's why Maya is there. She purifies us. She ensures that we are completely pure. And then when we become a pure devotees, we chant and we become so pure, and then we go back, we don't come back. So there is no chance of coming back. That's what Krishna is explaining to us. Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji. So then these are a few slides which talk about how, because of false ego, we are wrongly identifying ourselves with the body and with our mind. We're getting angry. And that's why perception is very important. How we look at something is very important. And how we make a choice. Every moment we are making a choice. Should I do karma, vikarma, or should I actually understand what is akarma, where you dedicate everything and you choose real happiness and bliss? And how you see the world Depends on how you look at it. For example, you can see these two jailers. One jailer is drawing the prison, the lines, and he's saying this is how it is. The other is looking at the world beyond. So there is a world beyond. And so we need to, dream of that so that we can get back there. That's why Krishna gives us a small glimpse of it. All our pride is only and only due to our illusion, that is a false idea that I am this body. The true knowledge is I am the soul. The super soul is in my heart. The Supreme Personality of Godhead loves us and controls both the material and spiritual worlds. Now look at this person. He says, I earn so much money because I'm super talented. Actually, the money is not even his. The talent is coming to him from God. So, actually nothing belongs to him. Neither his talent belongs to him, nor does the money belong to him. With that kind of emotion, you will only continue to stay trapped in this world. Whereas, when you become free from false prestige, I'm a fool to leave Krishna. In the abode of Krishna, I left, and now I'm trapped in this horrible gross body and material body. And I'm not, and this subtle body, the gross and subtle, both bodies, have to be thrown away, with our efforts of removing all our desires and lust. And then we need to go back. This is the kind of, emotion that Krishna wants us to come into. The living entities in this conditioned world, Krishna says, are my fragments. He says that Krishna is telling us that all the living entities are my fragmental parts. We are all part of Krishna. But it is only due to conditioned life that we are struggling. Krishna tells us that we are struggling very hard with the six senses which are tempting us, and which include our mind also. So in 15.8, Krishna is saying that the living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as air carries the aroma. I think this also reference I've made in another class, that when the air, it carries a fragrance from one, it carries a fragrance along with it when it moves from one flower to another. Similarly, whatever are the different reactions or the desires or the karma, the results of the karma, all that is carried from one body. When somebody dies, only the gross body is left. Then a subtle body goes along with the soul like fragrance, and then it's accordingly taken to the next body. The living entity does. So here I was telling you that the second part of this chapter 15 is about, a transmigration of the soul. So the living entity thus takes another gross body, and then it will obtain ears, nose, tongue, sense of touch, everything about the mind, according to the kind of desires that he's holding on to. And accordingly, he will enjoy a particular sense of, sense objects. So there's a quick story. There was a brahmachari who wanted to study Gita. He wanted to sit and learn up the verses, but the rats were bothering him. So what did he do? He got a cat. The cat started bothering him whole day. He has to give him milk. He's crying all the time and disturbing him. So he got a cow so that, it's easy for him to give the milk. The cow, and to take care of the cow, he got married. For the cow care, he got married. And then now the wife is troubling him for a child. Then he gave her a child. Now the child is bothering him. And ultimately, he didn't study a single shloka. But this is what actually happens to us. We are getting so embroiled in the rat race. We forget that. And I feel so sorry that we are not able to teach our children this knowledge, because how the world has come to a situation where people are only talking about secularism, and we don't really teach this, such a valuable lesson. People don't even understand how valuable it is to understand the purpose, and the whole world will be a totally different place once everybody understands their purpose is to get back to Krishna. And then they look at everybody with an equal eye. They know that Krishna is there. Nobody is frustrated. There is no suicide. There is no orphanage. There is no old age home. It would be such a different place. But of course, this is the Dukhalayam. It is a prison, and we need to actually aim to, instead of making this world, we try to get devotees and make them understand. Our main aim is that to get back home where we belong. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys. He doesn't understand all that. He's just confused about it. The endeavoring transcendentalist who is situated in self-realization, he can see clearly. Once you become somebody who is self-realized, you become very clear. And those who are not situated, they cannot see what is taking place, although they try hard. Now we're in the third part of chapter 15, where the Lord tells us that he actually maintains us. He is our, maintainer. Our body needs the sun, moon, fire, water, and hunger, digestion, outgoing, incoming air. Everything is actually Krishna. It's unbelievable that we don't understand that we are, we cannot even breathe without Krishna. We cannot digest our food without him. At the cosmic level, at the personal level, and everything, it's only because of the mercy of Krishna. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness in this world, comes from me. Krishna is saying. Krishna is telling us it comes from me. There's no doubt, we don't need to think twice. The splendor of the moon, the splendor of the fire, everything, I am the one. I am the one giving it to you. Because I am the one who enter into each planet. And by my energy, they stay in the orbit. So we know, okay, gravity and this and that. But actually, the energy is coming from Krishna. He's saying, I am the one who is doing that. I become the moon and I supply the juice of life to vegetables. So we don't even know, the scientists have not yet discovered that the light which comes from the moon actually provides, brings, makes the vegetables juicy. They don't know. Once if they do research, maybe they can find it out. The Bhagavad Gita is telling us, I am the fire of digestion in every living body and I am the air of life. So like I just told you, everything is maintained by Krishna. Krishna says, I am seated in everyone's heart. And from me, this is a very beautiful shloka, which I really love. We think that, okay, we have great memory, we have great knowledge, and we are the ones understanding everything. But Krishna is telling us, whatever you remember, whatever knowledge you get, whatever you forget, I am the one doing it. I am seated in your heart and I am making you remember. I am making you get whatever knowledge you have or you don't have or you need. And I am the one who makes you forget. If you forget something, Krishna is the one who is in charge of it. He takes, he is the one who is in charge of everything. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedanta and I am the knower of the Vedas. So now we are going to look at what is the essence of the Vedas. So here, I think once one Prabhu had asked about what is our choice. So this is also constantly said, there is a choice. Although Krishna is in complete control and nothing happens without his sanction, Krishna gives us limited liberty. There's a limited choice. He gives us choice whether to go back and look at him or whether to say, Krishna, I don't want you. And then Krishna will make us forget him. If we don't want to remember him, Krishna will say, fine, forget me. And he will not allow us to remember him for many births because we didn't want to. So, however, Krishna is very good and merciful because he's given us this Bhagavad Gita. And some of us who actually come to realize that, we need to know who are we and what is our purpose. Krishna comes and gives us a Gita. Here, understand, this is the purpose and this is what it all really is. Otherwise, with our limited senses, we can never come to this realization. Now, from 16 to 20, Krishna is going to tell us about the Vedic knowledge. So Krishna says there are two classes of people, fallible and infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible. And in the spiritual world, every entity is infallible. So here there is a story in this picture. So besides these two, there is the Lord himself who is maintaining everything and he is, of course, always infallible. So we're going to look at Krishna here. And I think I have also told you this one, the point before, how Krishna has 16,108, wives. And there is a story about Bhaumasura, also called Narakasura. He had imprisoned 16,000 women. And then when, Krishna comes and he fights and defeats Bhaumasura, all of them say that, we have been, pulled out of our families and now we have been staying with this Bhaumasura for so many years. And now when you have come and freed us, and Krishna looks so attractive. So they say, now you have to marry us. We want to only marry you. We don't want to go back home. And Krishna actually multiplies himself and he is there for every one of them. Can you imagine? Someone has like one wife, two wives, three wives, even that he struggles, four wives, he struggles like anything, how to keep them all happy. Krishna keeps every one of them happy. And they were all actually great sages in the during Ram's avatar, and they are not ordinary. These women are not ordinary. They are all in the previous birth during the Rama avatar. They were great sages. So that is why they got the opportunity when the Lord comes to the earth. They actually request this, and they are immediately granted this request. So these are concepts which are very difficult to understand. Only gradually when you understand the Lord's position as a supreme and that everything is possible for him, then we understand. There is a quick story I can tell you. Once Narada Muni was wondering how come Krishna can keep so many wives, all of them happy. And then he goes and visits them. Each one has a palace. And he goes into each palace, and every palace he finds Krishna, and he finds that, he's with some he's taking care of the child, somewhere he's, sitting and talking in another place. Every house he is fulfilling his duty as a husband of that the lady there, and he's doing it to the full satisfaction of that particular lady. That is only possible by the Lord. So Krishna says, because I am transcendental, beyond fallible and infallible, and because I'm the greatest, that's why I'm celebrated in the world and the Vedas as a supreme person. Now, that is why when some people go on hearing, they start feeling envious. Why? They want to feel that, oh, I want to be. It's in the Krishna book. Yes, Kiran Kumar Prabhu. Okay. Yes. So everybody's ultimately, the Vedas are ultimately telling us, leading us to the fact that Krishna is the Lord of the universe, and everyone, whether it is Shiva, you can say everyone. Shiva is actually not considered as a demigod. Shiva is in a higher position. He is also like, at a very elevated position. It's like milk turning to curd. So it's Krishna's own expansion is Shiva. And that is, of a very high, he cannot be considered as the others. But then even he is constantly praying and constantly chanting. And he tells Parvati, that the only way to be free from the world is to chant Krishna. Brahma is forever glorifying the Lord. So everybody. So Krishna is saying, whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is a knower of everything, because actually there is nothing else to know. And he therefore, once he understands this, he will constantly, engage in devotional service. Once you start understanding this, you will find that you want to dedicate everything you want to do for him. You want to chant. In the beginning, chanting will be such a problem. You'll kind of crib. Oh my God, do I need to chant? But then you feel, no, I must chant. It is a yuga dharma. You've heard it now. Now you know it. Now, if you don't chant, you feel, oh God, no, actually, I should chant. But it's tough. And then you have to go through such a lot. You will try to, listen to more great devotees who will share why it's important to chant, so that you start chanting, and then chanting becomes a part of your life. It will start removing all your sins, and then you'll become free. You'll become a transformed person. Your destiny will change, because now you have turned your face towards the Lord. So this is the most confidential part. Krishna is saying of the Vedic scriptures, or sinless one, is disclosed by me to you now. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. Krishna says that any endeavor in this material world which is not dovetailed with Krishna, that is, if you don't attach it and relate it to Krishna, then it is useless. It is temporary. But anything you attach it to Krishna, then it has value. And if we understand this one chapter 15, Krishna says, we become Paramhamsa, which is great devotees, right? Infallible devotees. So with that, exactly in half an hour, I finished chapter 15. Hopefully, I can finish chapter 16 in the next half an hour. So we have studied about the inverted banyan tree in 15.1 to 15.5. We have understood transmigration, which we had seen in chapter 2 also, how the soul goes on moving and what is the reason for it to get the different bodies, and how it is like the aroma is being carried by the air. Similarly, the soul carries the subtle body along with it. That is the mind, intelligence, and false ego. And what is false ego? We saw all that. We saw how Krishna is a maintainer of everything, our body, mind, and soul. And then we saw the summary of Vedas and Vedanta, which clearly tell us that Krishna is, the source of everything. And our only knowledge that we need to have is that he maintains our spirituality by offering ways and means to achieve self-realization and escape the dangerous cycle of repeated birth and death. First of all, you need to feel fed up of birth and death. Otherwise, you won't feel like learning more. Some people say, I don't mind, I don't mind being born. It's not so bad. And then they think the world is good. But actually, when they, you don't even know whether you'll get what kind of a body you will get in the next birth. You might be, probably they say if you commit sins like taking money which has been given to the Lord, then you become born in this stool as worms. Can you imagine? Such horrible kind of births are possible. And we don't even know, because it's not in our control. Every thought we carry, every time we have a mode, accordingly, our next birth is being decided. And we don't even know what it's going to be. It's just going to the soul will just go and enter the next body. That's it. We don't know what is going to be. So thinking that, oh, it's okay, I don't mind another birth, doesn't make sense. If you really read the Gita, you need to strive to make this your last birth. At least if you really keep trying hard, Krishna says that you will, at least be born in a transcendental family or in an aristocratic family from where you can continue on the spiritual journey. At least we can ensure that by listening to the Gita and following the tenets that Krishna gives us. Now in chapter 16, we are going to see Daivasura Sampada Vibhaga Yoga. So we are going to see, like, actually how can we relate it? In chapter 15, we saw the tree. If we have divine, if we develop divine nature, we will go up the tree towards the spiritual world. But if we we start focusing more on the demoniac tendencies which we all have, then we will go down, towards the lower areas of the tree. And then we will have to, chances of being born as animals where the consciousness is so low. I had shown you in a previous class the levels of consciousness. Our consciousness will go down to the Annamaya, and where the Tamogana is more. And then we will not even have consciousness to understand. Then we have to get a human birth. And after many births, I mean, it's so terrible. The more I repeat it, it's so, terrible to think about the possibilities if you don't understand demoniac and divine qualities. Krishna is telling us in great detail. So we begin with, in chapter 16, Krishna beautifully explains to us about the divine qualities. So he's going to tell us in this chapter, the three parts are what are the divine and demoniac qualities, and then he tells us a result. If we become divine, what is the result of it? If we work and try and focus on our demoniac nature, and we just allow ourselves to go by the demoniac nature, what is the result? And finally, he will tell us about how to give up how to give up our demoniac tendencies and how to turn towards scripture. So that is what this chapter will tell us. So in verse 1 till 3, Krishna is talking about 26 qualities. So these are the 26 qualities he talks to us. So first of all, he is telling us about fearlessness. So fearlessness is actually the person who has fearlessness is, the biggest example is a sannyasi. So a sannyasi has to leave, everything, and he goes off to the forest. So, let's quickly go through how life used to be in the olden days. First of all, the boys used to go to the brahmacharya ashram. Why? Because simply because for girls, it was considered to be safer to be at home, and they would also get the knowledge from their fathers and their mothers, and they would also read scriptures, and they were safer, and they were, getting the education from home itself. But the boys would go and they would have the brahmacharya ashram where they would follow celibacy. That is, they would not have any form of attraction to the opposite sex, so that they can focus on only gaining the Vedic knowledge. And then there would be the next stage would be the grahastha ashram. So there could be two choices. Some of them, by the time they study all the scriptures, they realize that this should be my last birth, and they have reached a high level, so they can directly become into sannyasis. They don't need to marry. They don't feel the need to marry, because now they want to focus already. They start off their life with further spiritual, on the spiritual path. But some of them, they still have some desires, and they're getting disturbed. Krishna says that you can move on the path of spirituality only if you're peaceful and your mind is calm. So if you have some desires left, you can't proceed in your spiritual path. So Krishna says, okay, you can get married. And so then they start off with their grahastha ashram, but then so beautiful. Now that they have so much of knowledge about from the scriptures, they actually have a very beautiful married life. They, their wife also is Krishnized, and they are both, offering everything to Krishna. Even the child they have, they teach him how to the transcendental knowledge, and the whole family is dedicating everything to Krishna, and they have a beautiful life. And then when they finish off the 25 years of the grahastha ashram, the girl continues to be with her children, because that is how the scriptures are saying, and she had to be taken care of by the children, by her children. For her, going to the forest is not considered an option, because what to do? That is the kind of body she has received due to her previous karmas, but yet Krishna says she also can go back to Godhead. Simply she can sit at home and be chanting and offering everything she does to Krishna. But what does a man do? The man goes off into the forest, and then he has to give up his attachment, and he has to leave everything and go into the forest. So he needs to be very fearless. That is how the first quality is fearlessness, which is found highest when person is in vanaprastha ashram or in sannyas ashram. Because these people, they don't. Now suppose you're working, you have a salary, you have your money, your food is secured, you secure everything. But then those who go, who leave everything, they just go. For them, there is no guarantee. What is a food? They're fully in the mercy of the Lord, and the Lord protects them. As much as the degree of surrender that they have, they become fearless, and the Lord actually gives them and provides them for whatever they need. it happens, with that complete faith when it is true renunciation. But actually, Krishna says so there, and then they take up the sannyas ashram, which is the final ashram where they are, just totally into spirituality. They have nothing to do with the material world, and they are ready because the final exam is approaching. Why? Why is the Vanaprastha ashram and sannyas ashram taking place? Because our days are numbered. And then before our death, we need to be prepared to face death so that when we think of Krishna, we can go back to Krishna's world and we don't want to come back in this world. So that is why this Varnashrama system was given. Everyone can work towards their way back to the spiritual world. So these are the qualities. The first one being, like I told you, fearlessness. And we need to work at first trying to be fearless. However, we need to remember that what I told you just now is only for the Satya Yuga and the other yugas. In the Kali Yuga, Krishna clearly says, no, don't go to the forest. For the Kali Yuga people, no. So there is no need for anyone, men, women, everyone. Everybody is in the position of Shudra in the Kali Yuga, because everybody has a small brain. Our brains are, because of being born in the Kali Yuga, we are disabled. Our brain is less. The cheating tendency is more. The people are the adharma is more. So the only small thing that anybody, male or female, need to do is sit and chant inside their homes. Whether it's a man or a woman, they have to sit and chant and they have to develop their spirituality. There's no need for them to do anything else. Purification of one's existence is the second quality. Cultivation of spiritual knowledge. You have to continuously try to cultivate your spiritual knowledge. These are all the gunas, the divine qualities. You have to do charity. And charity should not be like, you do it without attaching it to Krishna. Anything you do it through the temple or just offer it to Krishna and then do the charity. So then you will not get any karma. Otherwise, if you simply do charity, like the do good, be good kind of thing, then you will have to be coming back to the heavenly planets where you have to enjoy the results of your karma, and then you will again come back to the earth. So then you not become free. Unless you offer it to Krishna and do the charity, there is no possibility for you to be free. So that is about charity. Then self-control. Right? So charity is also more important for the householder, because only the householders are earning money. Those who are already gone into the forest and everything, they are not earning money. So for them, charity doesn't apply. Charity is for the householder. Then we have self-control. Self-control is also for the householder. Those who are in the Garhastha ashram. Why? Because they have a wife and they have, the money. And so they can enjoy luxuries or they can run after the material pleasures. So they are the ones who need to practice self-control and austerity. And so performance of sacrifice also is to be done by the householders, because for example, now this Zoom link that we are having, through which we are doing our classes, is actually paid. It's not free. Nothing is coming, with nothing is free. It's all requiring money. Where is the money coming from? It's coming from the devotees who are giving, who are paying to the temple. That is how we are able to enjoy these free Zoom classes, because of the devotees, some of the devotees who pay back to the temple. And so what we can see is that it is the householders who are sacrificing and doing charity, and because of which this spiritual knowledge is being spread. The next is Swadhyay, where are we? Yeah, Swadhyay, which is austerity. Then we have simplicity. Austerity is tapas, right? Tapas is mainly for the retired life, because when you are you finish with your Garhastha ashram, that's when you are able to sit and do austerity of body, mind, and tongue and everything. You are able to do it properly. And then we have the next quality is Arjavam, which is simplicity. This is mainly for those who are like businessmen and all that, right? If they are having duplicity, then they feel that they can cheat and get their way. Their focus becomes on trying to make more money, and so they tend to do all sorts of cheating methods. But then Krishna is saying that if you want to be austere, you want to have good qualities, you need to give up and be simple and straightforward. Krishna will provide, there's no need to worry, because your aim is not to make money and enjoy the material pleasures. Once you understand Gita, you know what is your aim. It's to go back to Krishna. Then such persons will be very They'll be free from anger. Have we finished? I'm going in order. Simplicity, we finished. Non-violence, like I told you, non-violence is not only related to not eating non-vegetarian or not killing others. It's also about not hurting others. Truthfulness is, basically you have to be no misinterpreting anything. You should speak only what is as per scriptures. No bringing in your own meanings into that. Freedom from anger is very tough and it has to be done. Then renunciation is like tyaga. True renunciation is in the Kali Yuga especially, is to simply use everything in the service of the Lord. You don't say, I don't want this, I don't want this. You say, I want it. Why? You don't say, I don't want money. You'll find devotees won't say, I don't want money. They will try to earn more. Why? So that they can serve Krishna better. So that they can, put whatever they have in the service of Krishna in a better way. Because that becomes their aim. So they will constantly try to, they will, that is what renunciation for the devotees in the Kali Yuga. Tranquility, they're very peaceful. Then there is aversion to fault finding. And this is very tough. The moment you pick up a phone and you start talking to someone, what will they talk? Oh, they'll start finding fault with someone or the other or something. Maybe. So, they will, this is fault finding. Aversion means hatred. Once you're in a spiritual journey, then you feel you don't want to listen also. The spiritual people, once you're in a spiritual path, when people start talking, ill about others, you somehow, you will find them very sweetly, they will try to move away. They will not hurt the other person also because he is wherever he is. You don't disturb others, but then you don't want to listen to gossip. You don't want to listen to Grameen Katha. And you have compassion for all living entities. You start looking at everyone equally. And then you have steady determination. You are very gentle. You are free from, I'm jumping some of them. You are free from covetousness. What is covetousness? It's greed. You don't have any more greed because you find it's pointless, right? You don't want anything because it's all temporary, and you stop, you just simply become, there's no greed anymore once you become spiritual. You're very gentle, modest, you have a steady determination is very important. For example, even to chant or even to start deciding that I will take prasada or to decide that I will give everything to Krishna. This is very easy to say. Unless you have a steady determination, you will not be able to proceed or progress in the path of spirituality. You need to have vigor. Now, vigor is mostly for the Kshatriyas because they are the ones, they can't just sit when the enemies are coming and attacking your place. They can't say, oh, I am, I am a very realized person. I don't fight. No, if you're a Kshatriya and that is your duty, you have to fight, you have to protect, you have to do your duty. So they need vigor. And then forgiveness is for all. Again, it's mainly for the Kshatriyas because, actually the strong people are the ones who, can forgive and who should forgive. So forgiveness is mainly for the strong. Dhriti is fortitude, that is courage. And then cleanliness. Cleanliness is both internal and external. Some people think only cleaning the surrounding is enough. No, you have to clean yourself inside. How? By chanting. Every time you chant, Krishna will come and start cleaning. Krishna is, he won't have any shame for cleaning you up inside. The moment you chant, he starts cleaning you up. He will clean because he will keep his seat clean. He will clear you and clean your heart, and there he will sit in your heart. Freedom from envy. Envy is very natural. The moment you see somebody doing a little well, it comes automatically. But once you become devotional, you know that anything good you see in everyone is actually coming from Krishna. So you become free from envy, and you don't have any passion for honor. So these are the 26 transcendental qualities that Krishna has spoken about. And let's look at some examples. Of course, fearless is Srila Prabhupada. If you just get a chance to read the life of Srila Prabhupada, you'll be amazed at the way he went, using a cargo ship with 2 heart attacks on the way, with no money, hardly any money with him, and how he reached there and how he actually started this movement is unbelievable. He was absolutely fearless, and it was only because of Guru and Krishna. He was totally dedicated to his Guru. He said that I don't, I know that Guru is with me. My Guru is with me. So his Guru is the one who told him to go and spread this message of the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam in the Western world. He said, my Guru is with me. So there were so many tribulations and so many challenges, but he just went through everything. Simplicity is basically non-duplicity. There is a story about Mukundananda's son, Raghunanda, who offered laddus to deity and was waiting and waiting, and when the deity didn't come, the way he approached and pleaded, actually the Lord comes and eats the laddu. And then the father comes and gets angry. How come you're eating? He thought that he's eating, but the Lord was eating. The example of charity is Bali Maharaj. Of course, he gives himself completely. Example of self-control is Urmila. So Lakshman's wife, she knew that Lakshman is she should be serving Rama. So she, with her self-control, she stays back. An example of non-violence is Scorpion saving the story, where you can find that there's a rishi. He's trying to save a scorpion. Every time he tries to save him, the scorpion is biting and it's bleeding. And then he leaves it because of the pain. Then again he takes it because he wants to save it. Again the scorpion bites. Another person says, "What are you doing? Are you mad?" So he says, "No, the scorpion is showing its nature. Its nature is to bite. And I am doing what is my nature. I want to save this scorpion. I know it won't be able to survive here." So, you have everybody shows a nature, and ultimately we realize that our soul's nature, by nature, our dharma, which is our natural duty, is to serve the Lord. And we will be happiest doing that. Then we realize that we start enjoying eternal supreme bliss when we understand that. So Krishna says, I've explained to you such a lot about the divine qualities. Now let me warn you and tell you about what are the demoniac qualities. These are the ones: arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those who are demoniac. So this is what Krishna says in 16.4. And then, actually in this yuga, both the demon and the angel are, or the divine qualities, both the demoniac and divine qualities are within the same person. In Satyuga, right, in the Satyuga, we see that the demoniac qualities were in different planets. Like, we have this story of Hiranyaksh. They're in different planets, and the war between good and evil was taking place in the space, in the huge space. So it was between the planets. Whereas in the next yuga, that is when we come to the second yuga, which is Treta Yuga, we see Ram and Ravan. They are the good and the evil. Where is the war happening? It's happening between different countries. No longer is it happening it's not happening between planets in the state, in the space. And then the Dwapar Yuga, we can see that it's happening in the same family. That is, the Pandavas and Kauravas are within the same family that's happening. And then now in the Kali Yuga, the whole fight is happening within the same person. We only have the divine qualities and the demoniac qualities, and we are the ones who have to, help the good in us to win. So according to this, we can see the different yugas. For example, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar, and Kali. And in the Satya Yuga, the divine is Varahadev, and the demoniac is Hiranyaksh, and they are fighting in different planets. Ram is divine, Ravan is demoniac, and they're from different countries. Dwapar Yuga, Pandavas are divine, and Kauravas are demoniac, and they are in the same family. Kali Yuga, we have the tendency to be humble, helping others, tolerance. We only have so much of anger, greed, and the fight is basically, most importantly, within us only. Okay, so we only have the maximum tendencies, Asura and the Deva are within us only. So the transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, like I told you, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. But then Krishna tells Arjuna, don't worry, Arjuna, when you're hearing all this, because you are born with divine qualities. So Krishna knows, who has more tendency to be divine and who has more tendency. Everyone has different degrees of divinity and demoniac within them. Krishna tells Arjuna, you are actually mainly divine, so you don't need to worry. And then he says, oh son of Pritha, in this world there are two kinds of beings. Some are divine and some are demoniac. And why are some demoniac? Because they have more of a tendency of hating Krishna, because they have fallen down from there with a stronger desire to be away from him. So Krishna, allows them to have their own desires, and then they, keep trying different weird things to become powerful and to become, overcome Krishna. But of course, that's absolutely impossible. And then they keep on, Krishna puts them more and more into the hellish planets. So I have already explained to you at length. Krishna says the divine qualities. Now let me tell you about the demoniac. Those who are demoniac, they don't know what is to be done and what is not to be done. So they are, not at all clean. Their behavior is not good. There is no truth in them. They're forever lying. They say that this world is unreal. Actually, as you listen to this, you will find so many people you can be able to relate. People will say this world is unreal. Actually, there is no foundation. There's no God in control. It's all about sex desire. It's just lust. There's no God. No one is directing the universe. Stephen Hawking, the famous physicist, he says there's no God. No one is directing the universe. Brief answers to big questions. In another book, he also covers important existential questions such as creation of universe, alien intelligence, and all that. But then he is not able to see the presence of God. Right. So that is the picture of Stephen. This is a picture of Stephen Hawking. Following such conclusions, the demoniac, who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence, they engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. They don't understand that they are actually doing things which are destroying the world. The demoniac people, they take shelter of insatiable lust, pride, false prestige, and being thus blinded, their illusion. They are always want to unclean work, and they only attracted by impermanent. Let's come and have a drink. What joy do you get? Next morning you feel sick. Okay, let's have some illicit relationship. What after that? Full of complications, full of horrible feelings and dirtiness. Let's do some gambling. Some money you get, the money goes off as soon as it comes, and it doesn't even stay there. Let's enjoy meat. What after eating meat you suffer indigestion, and then all the tamogun and rajogun comes into you because of that eating. And you also have consequences to bear, which you will learn in the Bhagavad. So they believe that to gratify the senses unto the end of life is a main necessity. There is no end. Actually, they don't understand that because of this attitude, they are so anxious. They are bound by hundreds and thousands of desires. By lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. And what sense gratification they get? Some momentary or some show off, and nothing which is real joy. The demoniac person, how he thinks. We can see so many people. Most politicians are in this category. Oh, so much wealth I have today. I'm going to get more and more. And I have so many schemes and plans. And so much is mine. Is going to increase. Krishna actually knows this is the kind of people that's going to be in Kali Yuga. He's explaining to us. This is the kind of people who will be there. We don't need to feel, oh, why is he so rich and so happy? Actually, all nonsense. They're going to be just good. Krishna will tell what is the consequence. So now they may be, enjoying. It appears that they're enjoying some wealth and so happy and this and that. But Krishna is clearly telling us that they are probably just enjoying whatever karma from previous birth, and they're going to go shooting right down because they're not even using what they have in a proper way. Look at the attitude. So much wealth I have today. I will gain more according to my schemes. This much is mine today. I will increase it more. He is my enemy. I've killed him. And my other enemy, oh, him also I'm going to kill. I am the Lord. They think that they start feeling that they are the ones who are in charge of everything. They don't see that Krishna is the one who is giving everything. They think, I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. What relatives? Which relative stays with you? Aristocratic relatives you're please proud of. That's it. Any day it's all going to go. There is none so, if nothing, in the death moment, there'll be no one with you. You have to die alone. There is none so powerful and happy as I am, is what they think. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity. And thus, now just to feel some good, to feel good, they think, okay, let me perform some sacrifice and charity. And then I will rejoice. And then they're deluded by their ignorance in this manner. And in 16.16, Krishna says, thus they're perplexed. Actually, they put on a show, but they are totally perplexed by anxieties. They're bound by a network of illusions. Krishna knows exactly what's happening. And he's telling all of us. And, they become so strongly attached to sense enjoyment, and they fall down into hell. What more do we want to hear? Krishna is telling us clearly the consequences of such people. So bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, such a demon becomes envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They become envious of the Lord, who is situated in their own bodies of others, and such a loving Lord. And he blasphemes religion like anything. This is a picture of Shishupala, and Shishupala, he is very envious of the Lord, and every opportunity he gets, he makes fun of Krishna. During that, when Krishna had come to the earth during that period, Shishupala there's a long story. I won't tell you everything because there's no time. He actually, constantly makes fun of Krishna. And Krishna had promised to his mother, his mother actually requested him, please, pardon my son. So he said, I will pardon him for 100 times. But the 100th time, for 99 times, 100th time, I will not be able to pardon him. So 99 times he abused him like anything, verbal abuse, Krishna like anything. 100th time, simply one Sudarshan Chakra, finished. End of Shishupal. But he gets Sayuja Mukti. That is, he actually does get, because he's thinking of Krishna all the time, although in anger and envy, right? He's thinking of Krishna all the time. Krishna says, those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. So Krishna tells us the consequences of those who are demoniac. Attaining repeated birth among the species of demoniac life, such persons can never approach me. So while they're in those births, they cannot approach Krishna. Don't try. Krishna doesn't want devotees to go and try and convince demoniac people, because he knows that they are not going to be, turning to Krishna. It will only disturb the devotees. That's why Krishna tells us in the end of the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 18, propagate the Bhagavad Gita only to the divine people. Don't go and waste time. Demoniac people, they are never going to approach me, and gradually they will only sink down further and further into the most abominable type of existence. Now, Krishna tells us about the three gates which lead to this hell. There are three gates which we need to be wary about. One is lust, that is any kind of desire, small or big, is included in lust. The second is greed, where you desire to have more and more. And the third is anger, lust, anger, and greed. And every sane man should give up these, so that they don't degrade. So we can see the example of lust, where we have these, Dushasan, how he's having a lust, Duryodhana, and how they have a lust towards Draupadi. You can see how Ravana, he has lust towards Sita. And, Ram and Sita cannot be separated. But what does he want? He wants only the Shakti without the Shaktiman. How is that even possible? So he's lusting, that is lust, everything. In fact, everything which is prosperous and auspicious is Lakshmi, and Lakshmi belongs to the Lord. And we are falsely trying to say it is mine, it is mine. Nothing belongs to us. It's actually the Lord's. So anything when we feel a desire towards, that is lust. And anger is towards Pandavas. So we can see how, we can see the example of anger which the Kauravas had towards the Pandavas. We can see the example of greed, which is the greed which the Kauravas had for the kingdom of Hastinapur. So this is where we come to know that the society now has been deteriorating for millions of years. From past few thousand years, the rate of deterioration has steeply risen. We are attracted to vices and we are repelled by virtues in the Kali Yuga. That is why you will not find many people going to temples. There are many temples which are, just the priest is there and hardly anybody is going, right? But this what media feeds on. We like garbage, hence they serve us that. What does media give us? Media gives us, there's garbage in, garbage out. We want garbage, we want this kind of news. That's why this is what we get back. So we need to know our choices. The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to spiritual realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. So this is the steps which the Guru tells us. He guides us on the path. So what do you want to choose? Falling up or falling down or rising up? Which of those two take effort? Where are more people found? Which has a better outcome? So these are questions that we need to think about. So Krishna says that he who discards spiritual injunctions and acts according to his own whims, we make our own plans, they will not have perfection, they will not have happiness, they will never reach the ultimate goal. So he's warns us. One should understand what is duty, what is not duty, according to scriptures. When you know the rules and regulations, you should act so that you will be elevated. Krishna actually loves us so much. We are getting this message. How do we overcome it? Simply by chanting in the Kali Yuga, right? So, suppose there is a problem. Okay, do you have a problem in life? No, I don't have a problem. Then there's nothing to worry. Sit and chant. Do you have a problem in life? Yes, I have. Can you do something about it? Yes, I can. Do it. Just do it. There's nothing to worry. You have a problem? Yes, I have. Can you do something about the problem? No, I can't do. Then why are you worried? You can't do anything about it. Stop worrying. Right? So basically, don't worry, be happy, just keep chanting. So these are all different life lessons from these chapters. Lust, anger, and greed are ways to self-destruction. So have control. How? Through devotional service. That's the only way, actually. And then we can see how everyone actually has a choice. We think that, we don't have a choice. It's all happening to me. Oh, this is happening to me. That person did this. Everything we have only chosen. Everything is a result of what we have only done. It's all our own doing. It's all our own choice. So if we reject the scriptures and we act whimsically, we become miserable and we degrade. But if we perform acts of self-realization, we follow the scriptures, then we escape the gates. We cannot escape the gates unless we chant, unless we do devotional service. And then we attain the supreme destination. So this illustration we have seen before, we have to just keep revising this, that we are the soul. Our driver is the intelligence. We are superior to the driver. We can tell our intelligence what is good, what is bad, and be determined about it. The intelligence is actually superior to the different senses. It can keep the mind in control and the senses in control. But if it doesn't, the senses, the mind will go after senses, will go after sense objects. So we need to realize the position of each one. The sense objects are the lowest, the senses are actually above, and the mind is superior. It can control the senses. The intelligence is even more superior. It can control the mind. And the soul, once it realizes its position, it can control the intelligence, and that is intelligence is determination. The soul will ultimately, when it realizes himself and free from contamination, can take charge and take us back to our original position, which is Krishna. So what is the importance of the holy name in achieving Krishna? Because the holy name is more merciful than Krishna also. Holy name is the only way for us to go out in this Kali Yuga. Over the years, we have lost track of it. We have to follow 5 principles when we are chanting. Always, before you chant, keep preparation ready. Keep your posture straight. Take care of your pronunciation. Protect yourself from distractions and be in a prayerful mode. How will you prepare? The night before, you can give up rice. Don't eat heavy food, because so that morning you can get up. Start chanting very early in the morning so that the devotees, preferably with devotees. If you keep a Tulsi beside Tulsi Devi, she is someone who really helps everyone to go back to Krishna. So keeping a Tulsi is nice if it's possible, or at least you sit in a place which is free from disturbance. How will you protect yourself? Keep your mobile phone away. Otherwise, when you're chanting, oh, I think there's a message, let me check the WhatsApp. Or, so you will get distracted. Don't allow inattentiveness. Association of good chanters, not sleeping devotees. And keep fixed hours for chanting. Every day try to chant in the same day. How should your posture be? Sit properly. Yoga Shastra say that sitting straight actually gives you concentration. So sit nicely. Unless you're sick. If you're sick or tired, you can always also lie down, because chanting, there are actually no rules. No rules. Even in period, even if the ladies have a period or somebody is dead in the family, sometimes people say that, oh, you're impure. But then for chanting, no rules. If you feel sleepy also, don't surrender to chanting. Stand up, do pranayam, walk. Suppose you have an exam tomorrow, very important, you're in the medical college, you have an exam, you need to clear it. You'll sit and study the whole, wash your face and everything. This is most important exam. Your death, the moment of death is your final exam. You need to keep on preparing for it. Wash your eyes, remove the sleepiness, get up, stand, walk, whatever. Stand on one leg for some time, but just throw off your sleepiness and chant. By the practice of good posture, the body also becomes disease-free and firm. And pronunciation, keep on remembering that, even if you're doing 5 to 6 minute japa, 8 to 10 minute japa, people gradually, they start increasing their speed. And actually, when you're really concentrating, you can increase your speed. But you should be careful that you're not getting slurred. And chanting should be without interruption. Best is to chant 16 rounds in one sitting. That's very tough for us. Even I am struggling right now. 16 rounds in one go happens on very few days. And the mood has to be very prayerful. It is very important to chant with sambandha and prayojan. Yes, the word I was looking for is sambandha. So there is the prayojan is the goal, the sambandha is the relationship, and the process. So these are the 3 things: goal, process, and relationship. So we should always remember our relationship with God. And that helps us to work towards our goal, which is Krishna Prema. And while chanting, you should meditate on the meaning. Some prayers inspire you. You can choose that, select it, and then you can say. So take care, whatever it takes for you to come into that mood for longing for Krishna, crying for Krishna. This chanting is like a genuine cry of a child for the mother. That's the kind of mood you should have. And these are actually some slides I have taken from this speech by Mukund Das, Madhusudan Mukund Das Prabhu. And I really like them, so I thought I'll share with you, because chanting is the most important in Kali Yuga. There is no difference between chanting of Hare Krishna mantra and meeting Krishna eye to eye, face to face. No difference. Simply one has to realize, the more you become purified by chanting, you actually see Krishna face to face. People are asking, can you show me God? Yes, you can see. Simply prepare your eyes, prepare your ears, become transcendental. You will see him. That's what this is telling us. And then there's also one more Prabhuji's lecture I heard, which I thought I'll share with you. This is about thinking, feeling, willing, and action. How should your thinking be? You should think that there is no difference between Krishna and his name. How should you feel? We are not this body, we are this soul, we are servants of Krishna. That is my dharma. And how should your willing should be, I want to make Krishna happy. I'm not interested in making my senses happy. I want the Lord to be happy, because if he is happy, I will be most happy. And what is action? I'm going to chant. That's how I'm going to chant. And here there's a full form of safety. How should you feel? You should feel very sorry. Sorry for the mistakes. Feel sorry for all the wrong things we have done when before you chant. Be very attentive. Don't do multitasking. Don't do anything else when chanting. Always forgive everyone. Forgive everyone. Don't hold anything in your heart. It'll spoil your chanting. And be enthusiastic. Don't think, oh, make yourself enthusiastic for chanting and be in a thankful mode. Krishna, you've given me so much. Today, you gave me opportunity to speak this chapter 15 and 16. I'm so grateful to you. I got this opportunity to listen to this. Be very, very grateful and thank Krishna. And yamalicious. Finally, you start enjoying, suppose you enjoy yam prasad. Similarly, you start enjoying the taste of saying the holy names. Chanting, you should start enjoying. So I would like to end the class with requesting everyone to chant. We have finished 2 chapters. I've just taken about 5 minutes extra. Sorry for that. Vancha kalpataru vyasya kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you so much for staying with me and listening to this discussion about chapter 5 and 16 and 15 and 16. Radhe Radhe Ankur Prabhu. So grateful that you also joined us today. Any feedback or any reflection or anything you would like to share? Hare Krishna, Janani Mataji. Anything anybody would like to share? Shall I end today's class? Please join tomorrow and day after. We have the last 2 chapters, 17 and 18. In chapter 18, we'll be discussing the whole, it's a summary of the whole Bhagavad Gita. So that's really important. And chapter 17 is also really crucial because we are going to once more go through the modes of material nature, and we're going to understand so many things about knowledge, about charity, about how to live life. Krishna tells us how to live in chapter 17. It's very beautiful. So please join me. I'm ending today's class. Can we meet Krishna? Yes, Samit Prabhu. Certainly you can meet Krishna when you're chanting. 100%. You just have to gradually make it offenseless, So as you will see what is offenseless chanting. There are 10 offenses when chanting. If you're able to do offenseless chanting, Srila Prabhupada says one chant is enough, you'll be able to see Krishna. Hare Krishna, let's all move towards Krishna consciousness at a fast rate, and let's all not have any more. So many thoughts while chanting. Yes, Mataji, of course. It's very difficult to chant. Just don't bother. Let the mind do its stupid business. Just keep bringing it back, but continue the chanting, Mataji. Yeah. Anything, questions are there? Yes. Okay, I think we can close for today. We'll meet tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for allowing me the devotee association. Thank you. Hare Krishna.